We be making like real gangsters want to go make a song and shit like.
Yeah.
We got real gangsters.
Fresh out of prison, everyone thought PTI's story was about redemption, a man finally getting his second chance. But instead of turning his life around, he sparked a violent storm that tore through the streets and left the city bleeding. When he once bragged, "We got real guns," I most brushed it off as rap talk. But now, with bodies dropping and fear spreading across Memphis, those words sound like a chilling prophecy. PTI's release was supposed to be the start of peace, a comeback, not a crime wave. When Trella Donald Williams Jr., better known as Pooh Shiesty, walked out of those prison gates, fans celebrated like their hometown hero was back. He had the fame, the money, and every label watching closely, ready to invest in his return. But within weeks, chaos took over. Streets that once played his music were now echoing gunfire. Whispers started flooding the underground scene.
Now there's always this notion and this mindset, just because you get locked up in the feds, you got to do so much time and all this crap. Then people forget, we're not in the 80s, we're not in the 90s, we're not in the early 2000s or the 2010s. So what has happened is they have decided to implement programs to get you home back faster.
Something inside him had changed. Something dark, something dangerous. People in Memphis began saying, Shiesty ain't the same no more. Some blamed revenge, others swore it was unfinished business from before he got locked up. Either way, one thing became clear. His freedom didn't just free a man. It unleashed a storm. The city could feel the shift. The same energy that once fueled his music now seemed to fuel destruction. To understand how it got this bad, we gotta rewind and see who Pooh Shiesty really was before the madness began. Trell Donald Williams Jr. was born on November 8, 1999, right in the heart of Memphis, Tennessee. He wasn't born with fame, but he was born with that unbreakable Memphis hunger. If you know Memphis, you know it's a city that'll test your soul. Every block comes with lessons written in blood and loyalty. Pooh Shiesty grew up in the Cane Creek Apartments, one of the toughest neighborhoods on the south side. That place didn't just raise him.
If y'all forget, right, Pooh Shiesty is accused of trying to get over on somebody and shoot somebody square off in the ass. The feds caught him because the money that he had, all that flexing, that money that he had serial numbers. They superimposed the damn serial numbers and found those serial numbers matching the exact money that was left at the scene. Because when he shot dude and all that, it seemed like he was trying to rob him.
It molded him into someone who knew how to survive in chaos. For a short time, he lived in Pflugerville, Texas, with his mother, Gladys Baines. But at 16, he came back home to Memphis, straight into the same trenches he had left behind. That return changed everything. The name Pooh Shiesty itself came from deep family ties. It wasn't some random stage name. It was built from legacy and pain. His late older brother, who had a huge influence on his life, came up with it. Pooh was Trell's childhood nickname, while Shiesty came from the streets, meaning sly, slick, someone you don't want to cross. It fit him perfectly, because behind that calm stare was someone always 10 steps ahead, playing life like chess in a world full of traps. But tragedy hit early. His older brother's death didn't just break his heart, it changed his whole view of life. Every verse he rapped carried that pain. Every lyric sounded like a cry from someone who had already seen too much too soon. It wasn't just about music anymore.
Pooh Shiesty, Pooh Shiesty, Pooh Shiesty, man, he just got sent to the halfway house, which means he's officially out of federal custody.
It was therapy, survival, and revenge all mixed together. By his late teens, Pooh Shiesty was already rapping in the streets, performing with local groups like the Choppa Gang and O'Block Brothers. His freestyles flooded social media, raw and full of energy that couldn't be ignored. Fans loved how real he sounded. Like someone who wasn't just talking about the streets, but lived them. And in a city like Memphis, that kind of authenticity makes you a legend fast. By 18, he wasn't just another rapper trying to make it. He was becoming the face of the new Memphis sound. The same energy that built his fame would soon become the reason his story spiraled out of control. Because when someone like Pooh Shiesty gets caught between fame and the streets, there's no safe way out, only survival. Pooh Shiesty wasn't just inspired by the streets. He was molded by the legends who built them. His sound carried the DNA of heavyweights like Chief Keef, Gucci Mane, Kodak Black, and especially Lil Wayne.
What's up, bro?
Hell, man.
You saying it didn't look good?
You did look
Cut it out. You don't like dread. I'm gonna cut it off.
Thank you.
I'm already.
Thank you, baby.
I love you.
You could hear it in everything, from the way he stacked his bars to how his voice sliced through the beat like a blade. Each song felt like a mix of trap grit and street poetry, balancing confidence with pain, danger with pride. Every element of his music screamed authenticity. The beats were hard-hitting, the bass rattled car trunks, and his delivery painted raw stories of loyalty, betrayal, and survival. It wasn't polished commercial rap, it was that real talk straight from Memphis. His tracks spoke to two worlds, those living that life and those obsessed with the energy of it. Every lyric felt like a glimpse into his reality, giving fans an adrenaline rush they couldn't get anywhere else. Then came the rise, a climb so fast it almost didn't seem real. In 2019, Pooh Shiesty dropped his breakout single Hell Night featuring Big 30, released on March 15th. When the video hit YouTube in early 2020, it lit the internet on fire. People couldn't get enough of this Memphis kid with raw talent and fearless delivery. It wasn't just another street anthem. It was the sound of someone who meant every word he said. From there, it was all gas, no brakes. 2020 became his takeover year. Tracks like Shiesty Summer, Choppa Talk with Big 30, and Day One started heating up across the South. Each drop added fuel to the buzz.
Because if y'all recall, Gucci Mane had basically cut off all the people at 1017 and said, we only keeping certain artists. Now you have Big Scar and his family basically come out and say whatever they said once he passed away. But other than that, we're going to see what's happening.
Proving that Pooh wasn't just lucky, he was built for this. But the moment that truly flipped his career upside down came when he signed to Gucci Mane's 1017 Records, an imprint under Atlantic Records. That move changed everything. Suddenly, Pooh Shiesty had access to top-tier producers, major label muscle, and a team that knew how to turn street fame into global success. Gucci saw the same thing fans did, a natural-born star with Memphis roots and mainstream potential. It was the perfect storm. The industry's machine backing a street-certified artist who didn't have to fake a single thing. The collabs started coming quick. His track Main Slime, remixed with Moneybagg Yo and produced by Tay Keith, went viral, blasting through speakers from Atlanta to Chicago. Then came Beatbox 2 with Spot 'em Got 'em, and that's when people knew this wasn't luck anymore. This was history being written in real time. He also dropped bangers on Gucci Mane's So Icy Summer compilation, including Who Is Him, and each feature pushed his name further into rap's elite circle. Industry execs, DJs, and fans were all saying the same thing. Pooh Shiesty was next up, but nothing, and I mean nothing, could have prepared anyone for what came next. November 6th, 2020, Back in Blood, featuring Lil Durk, a song that didn't just hit the charts, it shook them. The track became a cultural phenomenon, peaking at 13 on the Billboard Hot 100, pulling in nearly 400 million views on YouTube by early 2025. The streets couldn't stop quoting it, the clubs couldn't stop spinning it, and even the haters had to admit, Pooh had officially arrived. The video even paid homage to fallen Chicago rapper King Von, giving it an emotional weight that connected deeply with fans worldwide. By 2021, Pooh Shiesty was untouchable. He dropped his debut mixtape Shiesty Season on February 5th, and it exploded, debuting at number 3 on the Billboard 200.
Look, one just fell out. Let me show you. 10.
10,
20.
20,
30.
30.
We gonna say 30, but a 20, we ain't finna act like that 20 ain't fall, nah.
That wasn't just success, that was dominance. The project was loaded with features from Lil Durk, Gucci Mane, 21 Savage, and Big 30, cementing his place among the best. It wasn't a mixtape, it was a declaration that Pooh Shiesty wasn't just here to play the game, he was here to own it. His rise was crowned with industry respect too, landing on Audiomac's Up Now list and the XXL 2021 freshman class, one of the biggest honors any young rapper can dream of. In just a few years, he went from Cane Creek's concrete blocks to Billboard's brightest lights. But the same fire that made him unstoppable was also burning everything around him. And soon, that success would collide with the darkness he thought he'd left behind. By 2021, Pooh Shiesty was on top of the rap world, untouchable, unstoppable, and undeniable. He kept feeding fans non-stop heat. First with Shiesty Season Spring Deluxe, featuring Lil Baby and G Herbo. Then again in April 2022 with Shiesty Season Certified, loaded with features from Gunna, ESTG, 42 Doug, and others, even while he was behind bars. That's right, the man was locked up and still dropping bangers like he had the world in his hands. And then came Federal Contraband in 2021, proof that not even prison walls could silence him. The track was gritty, raw, and rebellious. Everything fans loved about Pooh. He He was also nominated for Best New Hip Hop Artist at the 2021 BET Hip Hop Awards, officially cementing his place among the new generation's elite. Everyone agreed. Shiesty wasn't just another rapper, he was the rapper the streets believed in. Everything looked perfect. The music was hitting, the connections were strong, and the fame was only growing. The kid from Cane Creek had become a global name, moving from street corners to Billboard charts. The world was watching closely, waiting for his next move, expecting him to keep climbing higher and higher. But while the lights were shining bright on the surface behind the scenes, something dark was brewing.
If you forget, right? If y'all forgot, Pooh Shiesty was on a run where it seemed like Memphis was in control of the whole entire rap scene. And what ends up happening is that when you from a thorough crazy ass city like Memphis is, it's only a matter of time to either y'all start Xing yourselves out or going to jail, aka prison.
Something that would drag him back down faster than anyone could have imagined. This is where the fairy tale flipped into a full-blown nightmare, because while his career was skyrocketing, Shiesty was making decisions that would destroy everything he had built. He had money, fame, and influence, but he couldn't leave the streets alone. His story became a tragic collision between two worlds, fame and the life he came from. And it ended in the kind of chaos that no one saw coming. Shiesty's legal troubles began in late 2020, right when his career was peaking. Imagine this. You've got hit records spinning everywhere, collabs with legends, a label that believes in you, and your name lighting up every hip-hop blog. And then, out of nowhere, one night changes everything. That's exactly what happened to Pooh Shiesty. October 13th, 2020. Bay Harbor Islands, Florida, just outside Miami. What happened next would flip his entire career upside down. According to police reports, a shooting broke out outside the Landon Hotel, formerly the WWXI Hotel. Federal prosecutors claimed it wasn't random. It was a robbery gone wrong involving Shiesty and several accomplices. The target, a man who allegedly sold them sneakers and a Rolex watch. Witnesses said the meetup started like a normal transaction, but quickly spiraled into chaos. Prosecutors alleged that Shiesty and his crew confronted the man, demanding their money back after feeling scammed. Then, in the heat of the argument, Shiesty allegedly pulled out a Draco AK-47 style pistol and opened fire, hitting the victim in the lower body. Let that sink in. This wasn't a minor scuffle or some harmless flex gone wrong. This was a high-profile rapper, at the peak of his success, allegedly firing an assault weapon over a Rolex and a few stacks of cash. The recklessness of it stunned even his fans. People couldn't wrap their heads around how someone so close to superstardom could throw it all away in one violent moment. He was arrested and charged with armed robbery, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, battery, and theft, charges that could easily end a career. The evidence? It was ugly. Investigators connected him to the scene through photos of him posing with matching stacks of cash, along with surveillance showing a green McLaren identical to one he had been seen driving earlier that week. The case was airtight, and prosecutors were circling like sharks. Shiesty managed to secure release on a $25,000 bond, but the freedom didn't last long. While out on bond, more evidence started stacking up, and the feds weren't letting this one go. They wanted to make an example out of him, a message that even rap's rising stars couldn't outshine the law. Behind the fame, behind the flashing lights, and the millions of fans chanting "Back in Blood," a different story was unfolding, one filled with poor choices, paranoia, and the heavy pull of the streets that refused to let him go. The rapper who once looked destined for greatness was now staring at the kind of reality no chart position could fix. And this, right here, was only the beginning of his downfall, because what happened next would prove that even a man with the world at his feet could lose everything in a single, reckless decision. Even with the law closing in, Pooh Shiesty couldn't stay out of trouble. Despite knowing he was under federal investigation, he found himself tangled up in another shooting, one that would seal his fate and turn his rap empire into a cautionary tale. On May 30th, 2021, reports say chaos erupted inside a strip club in northwest Miami-Dade. Witnesses claimed that during an argument, Pooh allegedly pulled out a gun and shot a security guard in the leg. The motive? Still unclear. Some said it was over money being thrown on stage. Others claimed it was a misunderstanding that spiraled out of control. But whatever the truth was, the fallout was catastrophic. Even though the victim later recanted their statement, as often happens in high-profile street cases, the damage was already done. The headlines were everywhere. Rapper Pooh Shiesty involved in club shooting. And suddenly, the feds were paying even closer attention. On June 8, 2021, Pooh was arrested on aggravated battery charges and held without bond. His previous bond from the Bay Harbor shooting was immediately revoked. The message from the court was loud and clear. This time, he wasn't going anywhere, and that's when things escalated from bad to federal. By June 29, 2021, a federal grand jury officially indicted Pooh Shiesty, along with 2 alleged accomplices, Tyler Eris Brown and Quiana DeRosa, on 1 count of conspiracy to possess firearms in furtherance of a violent crime, all stemming from the original Bay Harbor Islands incident. What had started as a local state case was now in the hands of the feds, and when the feds get involved, it's a whole different ballgame. On July 8, 2021, a federal judge ordered Shiesty to remain detained without bond. At that moment, reality hit hard. This wasn't something money could fix. No legal loophole, no powerful cosign, no industry connection could stop what was coming. He was now facing the possibility of life in prison on multiple counts, including firearm possession as a felon and several drug-related offenses. By early 2022, the tension was unbearable. The internet was buzzing with rumors about whether he'd take it to trial or fold under the pressure. On January 4, 2022, Pooh Shiesty pleaded guilty to the federal conspiracy charge as part of a deal that dropped 3 other serious counts. It was a strategic move, probably the smartest one his legal team could pull off, considering how stacked the evidence was against him. Then came the verdict that would change everything. On April 20, 2022, in a Miami federal courtroom, the judge sentenced Shiesty to 63 months in prison. That's 5 years and 3 months, followed by 3 years of supervised release. The courtroom was silent when the sentence was read. The same artist who had dominated charts and packed arenas was now trading designer clothes for a prison jumpsuit. The judge reportedly cited Shiesty's lack of remorse and violent history as aggravating factors, but also acknowledged his youth and musical success as reasons for leniency. It could have been worse, much worse. But even then, the reality hit like a bullet.
So, man, please do music first, then do your interviews while your name is in the algorithm, bruh. And I know some people gonna be like, well, he just got home, bruh. He need time to sit down. He need time to relax. No, bruh, the people don't care. You're not a human being to these people.
5 years is an eternity in the music industry. And here's where the story takes an even wilder twist. The evidence the feds used to nail Shiesty was almost cinematic. Reports say investigators were able to match the serial numbers on the cash he flexed on Instagram with the exact bills recovered from the crime scene in Bay Harbor. Imagine that. His own social media posts helped build the case against him. The feds literally superimposed the serial numbers from the photos he posted over the ones collected from the robbery site. That's the kind of airtight forensic work that no lawyer, no plea, no spin can escape. Faced with evidence like that, taking the plea wasn't just smart. It was survival. With credit for time served, Pooh Shiesty was transferred to the Federal Correctional Institution in Canaan, Pennsylvania. Inside those cold walls, reality set in. The same young man who had once topped Billboard charts, rocked stages, and collaborated with Lil Durk, 21 Savage and Gucci Mane, was now spending his days behind bars. Far from the flashing lights and roaring crowds, the rapper who once had the world chanting "Back in Blood" was now fighting to keep his own name alive. His fame, his fortune, and his freedom, gone in a flash. The kid who had turned his pain into platinum was now living the consequences of the life he rapped about. But even in prison, whispers began to spread. Rumors that Pooh Shiesty wasn't done yet. Some said he was plotting a comeback, that he had notebooks full of lyrics, plans for redemption, and a hunger that couldn't be caged. Whether it was truth or just street legend, one thing was certain. The story of Pooh Shiesty was far from over, and the world was waiting to see what would happen when he finally walked out those gates again. Here's where the story takes a wild twist, because what happened next, nobody saw coming. While fans thought Pooh Shiesty would be gone for years, doing his full time behind bars, the streets of Memphis woke up to shocking news. He was free again. Yeah, you heard that right. Shiesty was back on the streets way sooner than anyone expected, and the internet exploded overnight. Every blog, every gossip page, every rap forum was buzzing with the same question. How did he get out so early? So let's break it down. On October 7th, 2025, just days ago, Memphis rapper Pooh Shiesty, real name Trell Donald Williams Jr., was officially released from federal custody, shocking the entire hip-hop world. The rapper, who was sentenced to 63 months, that's 5 years and 3 months, walked free after serving roughly 3 years, which means he got out more than 2 years early. At first, nobody believed it. Fans thought it was fake news, another internet rumor. But when official records confirmed he was freed from FCI Schuylkill, a low-security federal penitentiary in Pennsylvania, jaws dropped. According to his attorney Jason Davis, Shiesty earned time credits for good behavior and participation in rehabilitation and work programs, a benefit under the new federal sentencing reforms. In other words, he kept his head down, did the programs, and used the system to his advantage. But the confusion didn't stop there. Some outlets reported he was transferred to a halfway house, while others claimed he had already completed his transition and was fully free. In the federal system, both can be true. Many inmates spend the final months of their sentence in a halfway house to slowly re-enter society. But make no mistake, Shiesty is out. The first hints of his release came from his mother, Gladys Baines, who dropped cryptic posts on Instagram, heart emojis, clock emojis, and the caption, "It's time." Fans instantly went crazy, speculating he was coming home. Hours later, confirmation hit. Court documents and Bureau of Prisons updates showed Pooh Shiesty had officially walked free on October 7th, heading straight back to Memphis, back to the same city that made him and nearly destroyed him. And what did he do first? He jumped on Instagram Live, of course. His voice cracked with emotion as he told fans, "They tried to bury me alive, but I kept praying, kept pushing, and God brought me out." He credited his faith, his family, and especially his mentor Gucci Mane, saying that 1017 founder checked on him constantly, made sure he stayed focused, and reminded him that the world still wanted him back. Then he said the words that broke the internet. Shiesty season back on. Fans flooded his comments, spamming fire emojis and welcome home messages as clips of his live went viral across TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube within minutes. Almost immediately, Shiesty started teasing new music, posting short snippets from the studio, showing him vibing with his team and captioning them with cryptic lines like, "I ain't lose time. I gained focus." Insiders say he's already got multiple songs recorded, including one rumored to feature Lil Durk again, making fans believe a comeback album might be right around the corner. But amid all the hype, there's a deeper question that everyone's been asking. Will Pooh Shiesty really stay out of trouble this time? Because while some are celebrating his return, others are worried history might repeat itself. The same city that gave him everything also tempted him back into chaos before. And this time the spotlight is even brighter. Still, not everything post-release was dark or dramatic. One of Shiesty's first viral moments after coming home showed a lighter, funnier side of him. In a video that melted the internet, he proudly showed off his new dreadlock hairstyle to his grandmother, only for her to frown and say she didn't like it at all. He burst out laughing, saying, "All right, Grandma, I'll cut it off then." The clip instantly went viral, reminding fans that beneath the fame, the guns, and the headlines, he's still just Trell, the kid from Cane Creek trying to make his family proud. As for what's next, nobody knows for sure. But what we do know is this: Pooh Shiesty's story isn't over. It's just entering a new chapter. From federal prison to freedom, from viral fame to real-life redemption, he's walking a tightrope between the streets and superstardom. And if his past has taught us anything, it's that every time people count him out, he comes back louder, bolder, and more unpredictable than ever. The moment Pooh Shiesty touched freedom, he wasted no time making headlines. This man didn't ease back in quietly. He stepped straight into the spotlight. Within hours of his release, fans were already losing their minds after he jokingly flirted with Cardi B online, teasing, "Tell Cardi I'm home, it's time to link up." The post exploded instantly. Half the internet laughed, half called it bold, and everyone agreed. Only Pooh Shiesty could make a move like that days after walking out of federal prison. But the internet wasn't the only place celebrating his return. The hip-hop community rallied hard behind him. His mentor, Gucci Mane, who signed Shiesty to 1017 Records back in 2020, dropped a powerful message on Instagram. "Time to shake the streets up. Wop proud of you." The post came with old photos of the two together, real family vibes. And that post meant more than fans realized. Gucci had quietly distanced himself from several 1017 artists during recent years, but by publicly standing with Shiesty and Fugiano, he made it clear. These two were still part of the core 1017 family. Then came one of the most wholesome moments of the entire release. Big 30, Shiesty's longtime friend and collaborator, surprised him with a massive bankroll of cash on camera. He joked, "Look, one just fell out. Let me show you 10, 15, 20. We gon' say 30, but twin, we ain't finna act like that 20 ain't full." The moment went viral instantly. Fans couldn't get enough of the brotherly energy and real love between them. By that night, just Shiesty Home and Shiesty Season were trending nationwide. Over 50,000 posts in less than 24 hours. Memes, throwback playlists, welcome videos, fan edits, and predictions of who he'd collab with first. His name was everywhere again, on Hip Hop DX, XXL, The Source. Even major news outlets were covering his comeback. Fans were begging for music, and insiders hinted that a new project could be coming before year's end if he moves fast. With the buzz sky high and the industry waiting, everyone knows timing is everything. If he drops soon, this comeback could explode. But there's another side to the story because Shiesty isn't just a free man. He's a man under 3 years of supervised release. That means he's still under strict federal watch. He has to report to a probation officer, avoid trouble, stay clean, and follow every rule. Any slip up, any violation, and it's right back to prison. And with his track record, the feds are definitely watching close. Now here's where things get deeper. Beyond the excitement, this moment is about patterns, about whether history will repeat itself, or if Pooh Shiesty has finally learned. The industry is full of redemption stories and relapses. The line between freedom and downfall is razor thin. Fans online have been vocal, begging him to stay focused, avoid the street drama, and just make music. The advice has been clear and repeated across every platform. Don't crash out. Drop music. Drop more music. Keep dropping music. And they're right. The rap game moves fast. The audience doesn't wait. They want content, songs, visuals now. The internet loves a comeback, but it loves a downfall even more. So the pressure on Shiesty right now is enormous. People are comparing him to NBA YoungBoy, who despite his legal issues, kept dropping songs back to back, maintaining his fan base and dominating charts even from house arrest. That's the model people say Shiesty should follow. Stay low, stay creative, and let the music talk louder than anything else. Because truth be told, the money he's sitting on, roughly $1 to $2 million from royalties, touring, and endorsements, is good, but it's not forever money. Without new music and better money moves, it could disappear fast, especially after years of legal fees and time off the scene. That's why this moment isn't just about Shiesty. It's about Memphis rap itself. The city's scene is powerful but haunted by loss. So many of its brightest stars, Young Dolph, Gangsta Boo, Big Scar, are gone too soon. Memphis has become a battlefield between greatness and tragedy. Pooh Shiesty now stands right in the middle of that divide. He's been handed something most don't get. A second chance. A clean slate to rebuild what fame and the streets almost destroyed. And now, the entire world is watching to see whether he uses it wisely or repeats the same mistakes. No one's doubting his talent. Back in Blood proved it. His mixtape proved it. Every collab with Lil Durk, 21 Savage, and Gucci Mane proved it. The man can wrap circles around most in the game. The question has never been about can he make hits. It's about can he stay free long enough to keep making them. As of right now, Pooh Shiesty is a free man, back in Memphis, teasing new music, reconnecting with his people, and smiling for the first time in years. But this is the Crossroads moment. His next moves will decide everything. Will this be one of the greatest redemption stories in rap? Or another tragedy written in real time? One thing's for sure. The streets are watching, the fans are watching, the feds are watching, and the world is waiting to see if Pooh Shiesty can truly rise again.